All right, I don't care how the live gotta go, but check this out, man. I'm a so-called black person. That's what white people they gave me this title when I was a kid coming up. I mean, I never agreed with it, none of this shit, man. I just gotta accept the life I live in, right, to a certain degree. But I'm getting on Netflix right now, and they got this message up here, and it's funny they got it on Call of Duty. They got it a lot of places where white people own the establishments, but these same white people never cared to say that black people deserve to have their ownership, polity, economy, and liberation for the problems that white people cause in their lives in terms of stripping them from their landmass and stripping them of their native tongue, stripping them of their culture, stripping them of their economy, polity, and ownership that they had, like something like Greenwood and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street, when black people had their own economy thriving and white people came in as the KKK and the United States government acting as terrorists to terrorize these people to have them to stop practicing their own economy. Something same way like the Germans did to the Jews, and we already know that Jews are black people. You know, the original Jews that come from Judaism, which was one of the first religions coming out of Africa after monotheism, or beginning with monotheism, came. The fact first black people or the first Jews from Judaism were black people. So we're going to go with their origin, and we're going to say that Hitler killed black people during the Holocaust, evidently. But beyond that, right? They had a documentary. See, I'm highly versed, but I'm not. I wasn't smart enough to get these guys' names, and I might have it documented somewhere. But they try to have a Germany in America, or they try to have a Holocaust in America dealing with black people. They had it highly publicized. It was on television. It was on the news. I mean, this thing was like a very big thing. They had marches in America. These white people all in the streets, very militant, and it had an agenda to eradicate the planet of black people because black people had a thriving economy. Did nothing to white people. But the whole point of this Netflix shit is that Netflix has never made a stance and said that they believe that white people have not reconciled the past for slavery and for what they said that they did to the Native Americans. These people at Netflix only care about the house that they live in and the life of luxury that they gain at black people and Native American expense. They don't want to go back to Europe where they came from. When they was in Europe, then people was living in fucking Dungeons and Dragons. They was living in big ass stone buildings and operating with the oldest form of masonry that anybody had ever seen, because they had went to the progenitors of knowledge and went and took the origins of the knowledge, and then they just proceeded with what they stole, and then they had to learn in America the new world, the new way to do things, right? But the whole point at the end of the day is I took British literature in school, and my teacher, she used to in school, she used to let us know what British literature or what old English sound like. And when she used to do this old English, it sounds nothing like modern English or today's English. And this is what's let me know that white people use African history to form the civilization that they live in and act as if this is their culture, like being fun and extreme and surfing and all of these things that black people are not allowed to do because they don't have those freedoms in their life. Like they don't have the ownership that white people are given by the government, right? And we can go in history and get documentation about how the government gave white people houses. We can find this documentation, but white people don't want to talk about facts and intellect. They just want to call you a nigger and hope that's the end of the discussion. But that shit is dead and gone. Dr. Martin Luther King said, I refuse to believe man is mere flotsam and jetsam floating in a river of life. I refuse that black people have to be disrespected by Netflix with a statement like this. But as they make that motherfucking statement, these are the movies that they want to promote to you right here. These are the movies they want to promote to you. This movie, if I'm not mistaken, is about a fucking young black kid that's getting raised by a white man who living a life he probably could have never lived if he would have stayed with black people. That's what they trying to fucking tell you. This is about the LA riots, I'm sure, and I ain't even fucking looked at nothing about it. Why do we want to hear about the riots and the niggas saying, can we get along? Why wasn't that nigga saying, can we get our ownership, polity, economy, and liberation? Because they say that Rodney King was a part of the bullshit. Every person in this motherfucking globe that's black, they always end up saying these niggas is connected to these white folks in a certain way. And when you look at Rodney King, he been living okay since that shit happened, like the people say. That's why he agreed to do it, because he was going to live a certain lifestyle no matter what when they use his name to do that bullshit. Now let's view the rest of this collection. Cause I don't like being disrespected by nobody in it. Netflix wouldn't walk up to me and disrespect me they goddamn self. Let's look at most of this shit. Moonlight, we all know that's homosexual shit. Get on the Bus, that movie probably ain't got no fucking outcome. I ain't seen Get on the Bus in a cool minute. But the fucking movie probably got no outcome. Dear White People is some fucking shit that's perpetuated by white people to act like it's black people's perspective on the world that's going on. Black people do not control any budget around this motherfucker. This is a Caucasian perspective. White people that's supplying a budget to put black people in a movie to act like that's their perspective. This is a fucking minstrel show. This is a modern day minstrel show where white people control the fucking budget and they can, instead of using themselves in blackface, now they pay the black people to fucking do the minstrel show for them. And all this shit is a fucking minstrel show that you're looking at right here. And everything on television is a glorified minstrel show, right? Because the beginning of television and entertainment in America started out as a minstrel show. So everything you do outside of that is a fucking minstrel show, because that's what you started with. That's the foundation of your fucking craft, right? So every television show in America is a fucking modern day minstrel show, whether it's them white motherfuckers acting like they friends or whatever you want to do, because Friends is contradiction the theory of a black minstrel show. They're saying that white people are the opposite of the black minstrel show, which means that you are a white minstrel show. So yeah, we're gonna carry on though. Let's look at these movies. I hope that ain't about Quincy Jones. That nigga ain't never did shit for black people. We got Bobby Kennedy here. We know John Kennedy's impact in America. Okay, The Lion's Share, Self-Made. Oh yeah, let's look at this bitch. I don't like this motherfucker right here either. I don't like her face. I don't like what she represents. I don't like the movies like Madam C.J. Walker. I don't mind this, right? Of course you want to glorify Madam C.J. Walker. But this woman right here, the movies that they put her in be so fucking whack, bro. Like that Ma shit. That shit was like one of the worst scary movies I ever seen. And the concept of the shit was like racially driven, right? To like basically make white people think negative about black people. That was the fucking purpose of the movie. It wasn't really to scare nobody. That shit that she came out with ain't shit like Jason or fucking Friday the 13th. That shit ain't scary. That shit is stupid as fuck. Let's look at this shit. I'm really about to put this shit on blast because I feel like Netflix is disrespecting niggas, bro. Yeah, you ain't about to put Malcolm X in there and weed that in there When They See Us. Do you think I care, white people, when you see me? I don't even want to see you, motherfucker. I wish I never seen you a day in my life. I swear to God. I don't understand why somebody would be born and have to be around motherfuckers that they don't want to be around. I really don't understand. I wish I never would have met a white person a day in my life. Let's look at this shit, though. Let's carry on. We got two Malcolm X shit, and then look at the title. This one thing we want to recognize too. They got a trend of this on Netflix. 4-word title. She's Gotta Have It. What's this? When They See Us. There's another one on here. Well, look at this. They've Gotta Have Us. What the fuck is this? It's like they're trying to disrespect black people like didn't do nothing. Like when the black kids get shot and the white people in these forums talking about didn't do nothing or didn't do none. That's what this kind of, to me, this is what this is a slap in the face, like a didn't do none. You know what I mean? Like, and you see how the words or the titles are similar down there? Very similar. This is supposed to be more serious, right? So that's probably why they did that. But I'm just saying, she's got to have it. There's a trend. There's another one. What's the other one they got? They called it The Hate They Gave. They got a trend of this shit right here. It's really baffling to me. But another thing about Netflix, they want to disrespect black people and act like they care about black people, right? But I swear to God, if you go to the home right here, if you go to the home on Netflix and you just start going through this motherfucker, you're going to see more African movies, more Jamaicans, and more foreign movies on this goddamn Netflix than you will see any African American shit. This guy right here, Wesley Snipes, this guy was like the most action-packed man of America. And I don't see, maybe he didn't want to put another dress on after Tu Wong Fu. because it was years and years. It probably was 20 years since Wesley Snipes put a dress on. And he got to live without that persona. Like nobody looked at Wesley Snipes like the man who was a homosexual in that dress and doing all that gay shit. He started to be looked at as a regular man, a real man. Nobody gave a fuck about that dress shit. So since they forgot about that, they wanted to put that man back in the dress or something, emasculate that nigga. He's seeming too much like a man. He doing that Michael J. White fighting and boxing, and people look at him a certain way. So now we want to emasculate Michael J. White, because this is the first Michael J. White right here. We want to emasculate Michael J. White and put that nigga in another dress. In another dress. Where you at, Wesley Snipes? Why you ain't never got nothing to say about shit? Maybe because they did that tax evasion on your ass, so you trying to stay in the white people's good graces. They let you know how I feel, huh, Wesley Snipes? How I feel to get blackballed. How I feel to get whited out, huh? Now your ass is off-white. I bet you that's all of the shit you wear, too. You wear that off-white every day to constitute that you are an Oreo. You no longer give a fuck about black issues, Wesley Snipes. That's why your ass in your situation, boy. Even though you living better than the average person, that shit don't matter to nobody. But we gonna just go here. All of this stuff, this LA Originals, old shit, Surviving R. Kelly, dramatic shit. Nobody cares about that dramatic ass shit, right? This is still, that's the drama shit right there. This is that weirdo shit, white people comedy. You know, that weird shit. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to go really through here and find the black movies that these motherfuckers act like they care about black people. Where it's at, Netflix? Prove it, bitch niggas, because Monique already exposed y'all and said that y'all wanted to give her $2 when you wanted to get a white bitch $100 million. So yeah, Monique already exposed y'all, Netflix. And Devender, that's some shit I ain't seen it. But look, that looked like an African bitch right there. Look, African. This is what I'm talking about. So when you black on this, and when you a black person from America, and you get on this fucking Netflix and you see this guy and you see this words in English and you see this guy, something that an American can watch and be humored by based on the relationship of all of this. I'm relating to the words that are in my language, and I'm relating to this guy who is of my likeness, and I'm going to assume that this movie is meant to cater to me. If this motherfucker said un fundo conchuto, I'm not going to click on it. And you go through Netflix like this all day. You be seeing a black face. Look, you might click on this right here. You click on this right here. You might think it's going to be a black movie. And then they start saying un fundo cachuto on this motherfucker too. And this shit go all the way down to you. Let's hear these niggas talk. Now you think it's a black movie. Oh my God. I thought it was a regular black movie. You see what I'm talking about? Netflix. And you know what they say about you, Netflix? They say you did this because you didn't want to pay black people hefty checks. Because the people like Chris Tucker and Wesley Snipes and Will Smith, they supposed to get $25 million a movie. These African niggas, they trying to establish themselves. So they getting $100,000 a movie, $50,000. They'll do it for free just to get acknowledgement, just so they can come to America. So that's why they start using these foreigners. Yeah, man, y'all not dealing with no idiot, bro. But Netflix, you're not about to disrespect black people. Is this another African movie? Look, they look regular black. That's what you were gonna think. This better be, because they look regular black. What? Who's that? Wow, bro, you proving my point, Netflix. I would have thought this was regular black people. Look, Light in the Dark. That's what the movie called. And for a black person seeing this, and especially these people complexions and how much they much more relate to black people in America, you would think this was an American movie. Why don't you call this motherfucker their language or something? Why don't you put a subtitle that say African or some shit? This ain't black people. Netflix, you ain't got nothing for black people to watch on here. I'm letting you know, because my wife be sitting on this motherfucker watching all this shit because she not like me. She get entertained by this stuff. I cannot be entertained by this shit. I just feel like I can't. It's a disservice to myself. What the fuck does this mean? Black as fuck. Look at it. Even this shit right here. I try to watch this one day. The girl explains that her dad is the guy in Hollywood who perpetuates stereotypes, and he gets paid to fucking perpetuate stereotypes. That's what the girl right here says when you watch this, and she's explaining who he is on the show. She said he's the guy in Hollywood who all of Hollywood pays for him to perpetuate stereotypes. So that lets you know Hollywood will use only one nigga and use that nigga's face and his name to disrespect the whole race of people and nation of people. Like a John Singleton or something like that. And I'm not saying John Singleton, but hey, John Singleton, he still was making movies about crack, and this man was rich for 25 years. He's still making shows about crack in the ghetto. He ain't making no shows about the politics and how politics is corrupt in the ghetto. He's just making shows about crack in the ghetto. Yeah, so these niggas is all sellouts, bro. At the end of the day, look at this. Yet again, Netflix. You see where they going? They going with this theme. They going with that theme right there. She's gotta have it. That's the theme they going with these 4-letter little things. What's the other one with Spike Lee? Look, that's even 4 letters or 4 words. My wife and I. You might start seeing a whole trend on Facebook about this with all of the movies. That's black people, 4 words. This ain't 4 words, right? The Night Clerk. That ain't 4 words, evidently. So we gonna keep going through. If you start seeing all of this shit on Facebook that got black people 4 words, weird little situations, it's no coincidence, man. I'm just tired of the disrespect, bro. I got on Call of Duty on here talking about Black Lives Matter. Call of Duty, how much money you got? Don't make me get on the internet, look up the worth of Call of Duty, and see how much Call of Duty has did to make America great again. And I'm talking about really great, like before white people came and there was no racism and no genocide, no prejudice and oppression. That's when America really was great. Why you want to disrespect America? So in conclusion, right? Black people in America, if I gotta speak my own perspective, right? I ain't every black person, but I'm a real black person. I'm not a white person that's trying to talk from somebody else's experience. Based on the knowledge I've gained, based on my human experience, based on the evident history of America, black people want polity, economy, ownership, and liberation. We seek the same liberation Europeans seek from their own kind at black people and Native Americans' expense. And I do not believe black people and Native American are different groups of people. I believe that black people are Native Americans, but for the sake of argument and based on the Caucasian white supremacist history that they taught us, that we're going to separate Africans, our African Americans and Native Americans. And we're going to say that Europeans seek liberation from their own kind at Native American and African people's expense, supposedly eradicated the globe of a whole nation of people, and then enslaved a nation of people, because them people that's now been casted away from their own homeland and have to find their own way, now they're their own nation. So they would even be different from the natives, because the natives were their own nation before the Europeans came, and those Africans were in their nation carrying on as themselves before the Europeans took them somewhere else to start a new life. Therefore, those people have their own nation, and they're not Americans under the American banner where white people in all of America, anybody who come over here, get credit for what these people do. Like, not one black person, or like when black people go to the Olympics, right? On the world stage, if China win the Olympics, we know what Chinese people look like. Chinese people get that, right? Chinese people win right there. Black people don't win when you win in the Olympics. White people, some weird way, inherently win off of black people's effort. Like, then they'll glorify Michael Phelps, right? And they'll act like, oh, a white man won 132 golds. So black people is not the reason we got gold medals, or don't care about the black people's golds, or don't recognize those as what holds America in its high prestige. But when they go to China to go play China in basketball, they seem to bring Kobe Bryant, and they seem to bring LeBron or whoever they got to bring. They don't go with all white players. But at the end of the day, white people get on Netflix all day. They find movies that ain't got shit to do with basketball, got shit to do with murder, it don't got nothing to do with crime. Like 48 meters down, right? Whatever that shit was called. Where is the equivalent to 48 meters down for black people? You know where it is? It's somewhere up a white man's ass who controls the budget. And he ain't shitting it out. He constipated. He ain't giving up your budget, niggas. He ain't gonna let you niggas make nothing that make you feel good. When them white motherfuckers tried to disrespect black people and put out that show Insecure, white people took Insecure as disrespectful because they thought they was disrespecting black people. This is my articulation of it, why the show was taken off the air so goddamn fast, right? The show Insecure was supposed to disrespect black people, but they must have let the wrong have a job. And this nigga was giving some true life experience, some true how I get down with my brother, my sister, my cousin. And when they was getting down with their story writing and their storytelling, a black person wasn't offended because it was genuine shit. It was real experiences. It was shit the nigga really going through. So you can't take offense to that because it's funny, because it's real. When a white person try to tell a story from a black perspective, this shit probably not real. It's kind of like Malibu's Most Wanted, right? Even every story they tell is a Malibu's Most Wanted version of a black story. And we don't want that shit. What we want is a real black experience from a real black person who control the budget in a way that they can give us something that we can be happy about and feel good about and don't mind watching 100 times. I don't want to have to watch Friday. I don't want to have to watch motherfucking Rush Hour or no shit. Y'all can't put out no new good shit. And even Friday is drama filled. Even though it got a happy feel to it or whatever the fuck, it's drama. It's really hood drama. Drive-bys and all kind of shit.
What? What?
You probably on this motherfucking broadcast while you bullshitting.
You pointed to the TV.